Well, hello and welcome to unit number 2 for the Interpretive Master Planning course. So we're going to get things going for you and quite a bit of things for you to do to get the plan started. This is how we actually start an interpretive plan. And we're going to start by getting the objectives that we want the plan to accomplish. Now, in the Great Bridge plan that I sent you, this is page 1 and 2, as a sample of the objectives. Now, we get the objectives in a couple different ways. Often I'll get the staff or for my clients together and we do what's called a focus workshop. And everybody sits around the tables and I have a flip chart and I say, okay, folks, if visitors only remember 1 or 2 key ideas or points from spending a day with you, by gosh, nothing else, I want the majority of our visitors to remember, and then you fill in that blank. And so as we go around the room, some people say, I want them to remember our farming history affected the county in amazing ways, or I want them to remember that preserving historic landscapes benefits everybody. You know, whatever it is that they have as a product that they want people to remember, then that's what we kind of, we'll write down. And then each of those becomes an objective. That way, from the focus workshop, nobody's ideas are left out. We'll prioritize them and rank them, or we'll bundle them, and 3 or 4 objectives might become one objective. Now, in case there's not a focus workshop, then what I'll do is I'll interview some people, and I'll write what I think that the objectives are that they're looking for. That's what we did with Great Bridge. You know, we gave them the list of objectives, and then they reviewed those. The committee, the Interpretive Planning Committee, reviewed those, and then they edited them, added some, took some out, and then we don't move on the interpretive plan until the objectives are approved, because the rest of the interpretive plan is looking at how, when, and where we're going to accomplish those objectives. So let me give you an example. One of the objectives here is that they want the majority of people to learn about potential volunteer opportunities that the park and the visitor center offers. So if that's one of the objectives for interpretation, well, how are we going to do that? Are we going to do a bulletin board out in the parking lot? Are we going to do a website page that talks about volunteers? Are we going to do a volunteer exhibit in the visitor center? You know, so if that's one of our objectives, then we have to figure out just how we're going to accomplish that and where. So once those objectives are approved, then we'll take all those objectives and we'll create this storyline flowchart. What the storyline flowchart does is, at the very top, we'll have the main interpretive theme that they want to accomplish. These are the sub-themes, and below that are all the objectives that illustrate what we want to accomplish in illustrating each of those sub-themes. So it's a hierarchy. Here's our main interpretive theme, then here are our sub-themes, and then here are the objectives that we want to accomplish that relates to each of the sub-themes. These are the brains of the interpretive plan, because what we're going to do in Unit 3 is begin to do an inventory of all of our interpretive assets on the park or the historic site or the community, wherever we're doing the interpretive plan for. It might be a driving tour, might be a scenic byway. And we begin to do an inventory of all the stuff that we have existing, and we might make a list of stuff that we need to add. It may not be there yet, but we may want to have a pull-off on a highway, we may want to have a viewing platform, we may want to have exhibits in the visitor center. So we'll come up with the whole list of what we have and what we want, and then we begin to match the objectives to the places to see what where we can do all this stuff. So Unit 3, which will follow this one then, will be kind of our inventory and analysis. If you remember the model of interpretation from Unit 1, the objectives are that top bubble on the left-hand side, the top yellow bubble, and now we're doing the storyline and the theme and the inventory on that second yellow bubble. And then after we finish that, then we'll work on having you do a visitor analysis. How many people are coming, who's the audience, that kind of things. Once we finish that, then we'll move on to kind of some overviews of some details. I find that a lot of people doing interpretive planning may not know the state-of-the-art in interpretive panels, materials, and costs, or state-of-the-art in planning self-guiding trails or assessing trails, or state-of-the-art in exhibit planning. So we'll spend a little bit of time, a unit on each of those topics just to get you caught up, because if an interpretive plan says you want to do an interpretive panel at a particular location, then what kind of materials? How big do you want it to be? Will it be fiberglass embedment? Will it be high-pressure laminate? Will it be photo metal? And then you're going to have to put a cost to it, because at the end of the plan, we do an implementation budget where we list over the next 5 years how much each of the things the interpretive plan recommends that we do costs. So we have to get you caught up on what things cost and how long things take. So those will all be part of the whole course. So Unit 2, your assignment for Unit 2 is to come up with the objectives, the learning objective, behavioral, and emotional objectives for the entire site, everything that you want interpretation to accomplish as the big picture. We'll work on individual objectives for individual sites later on. And then what's the main interpretive theme and sub-themes that you want all interpretation to illustrate? And then I want you to draw me out a storyline flow chart where you show me the relationship between the theme, the sub-themes, and all the objectives that you came up with. So that's going to be your assignment for Unit number 2. I know it's a lot of work, but if you're going to be an interpretive planner, then interpretive planning is a lot of work. Rewarding, but work. So enjoy Unit 2 at any time. You can Skype me, call me, cry for help, go out for a beer, whatever you need to do. And we'll just keep moving you right through it. You send me your drafts, I'll look at them, make comments, send them back, we'll get it right, and then we'll keep going. Enjoy Unit 2.